Hi there, my name is Maisha and I'm a doula and a mom and a breastfeeding counselor living and working in NYC. Let's talk some more about breastfeeding. And by the way, don't fix your Wi-Fi, I stutter. So why is breastfeeding so hard? We've been doing it since the beginning of time, obviously, and I get asked this question a lot. And here's the thing, here's my personal theory on why it's so hard, is because the majority of us today have been trained to use formula and bottles, even if this is your first time, even if you haven't ever taken care of a baby or had a baby before. And let me explain to you why. So the first thing is, what all my moms ask me when I'm helping them nurse for the first time is my baby eating enough? And what you're thinking is, this is where, while they're at the breast, how much are they eating? Are they eating? This is formula theory and technique. Because when you feed a baby formula from a bottle, you could see how much milk is going into the baby. So just the thought that you need to know the volume going in is based on bottles, right? See that? Because in breastfeeding, you do not see the milk going in the baby the way you see it with a bottle. So you have to let that go, because if you try and apply that to your breastfeeding, you will be frustrated. Doesn't mean we don't make sure the baby's eating enough. We absolutely need to make sure the baby's eating enough, just in a very different way. Okay? So how do we know if the baby's eating enough? We need to judge it on the output. Yes, I do want to see I want to see milk in her breast. I want to see her breast change. I want to know, I'll ask if her breast changed during her pregnancy, if they enlarged, and if the color got darker or not, if they feel heavier, depending on the day postpartum that we're on. There should be certain signs. I can also hand express slightly and see if any milk comes out. The other thing is, whatever we hand express or pump does not tell us the speed and volume when the baby is breastfeeding. Again, the visual that we're used to on the input, throw it away. But so how do we know if the baby's eating enough? Pees and poops and behavior. We judge the baby's behavior if they're eating enough, and their pees and poops if they're eating enough. This is critical. And think about it. No matter what you feed the baby, if the poops and pees are behind, they need more food, right? They need more food. So what is the count for pees and poops? I actually don't remember the pee count right now, but I do remember the poop count, because if they're pooping enough, they're peeing enough. But if they're peeing enough, they may or may not be pooping enough. So I really only count the poops. Shortly after baby's born, they have something called meconium, which is their first poop. It's really dark and it sticks. That's the first few days. Oh, cat. Hi, kitty. Got distracted. And you have colostrum in your breast, which is amazing. It's a very small volume, which increases each day. If you're breastfeeding efficiently, your colostrum volume will be increasing the first 3 days and transitioning to mature milk around day 3 with a lot more volume. This will only happen if you keep emptying the breast by breastfeeding often, more often than you think. More often. Oh my God, but if I do that, I won't be able to do anything else. Correct. This is how breastfeeding works. It's a pain in the neck. It's hard. So around day 3, when that milk transitions, then we start to count the poops of the transitional poop, which is not going to be dark brown. It's going to be, help me on this word, yellowy and very loose. It's not diarrhea. It's just a breastfed baby's poop. So start counting those poops in a 24-hour period. I want 4 poops on day 4, 5 poops on day 5, 6 poops on day 6, and then we're going for 6 to 8 poops every day thereafter. That's how we judge if baby's getting enough to eat. The other thing I want to see, that's, check that box, good, is that your baby in the first week wakes up in 2 hours or less to feed. Positive sign. When they nurse, their hands go from closed to relaxed and open. Positive sign. That your baby has a few times during the day of being calm alert, where they're just like hanging out, they don't need anything, look around doing alien fingers. We want to see that. Okay, these are all positive signs, excuse me, that your baby's eating enough. Also, going to your pediatrician and we put them on a scale and see that they are putting on weight appropriately. Yes, they lose weight in the first few days because they take a big poop, but then they should be putting it back on time. All right, so that's, is my baby eating enough? You don't look at ounces in a bottle, you look at behavior and output, and that tells you. The other thing, formula technique being applied to breastfeeding, is how people hold the baby, and positioning is critical. So the bottle, I'm gonna use this because I don't really have any. When you feed a baby a bottle, you hold them on their back, right? And you go like this. Oh, so precious, so precious. So many people, when they start their breastfeeding, they're holding the baby like this. This is for the bottle, but the boobs, and then your poor little baby has to twist their head like this. Now, this is not a nice way to eat, right? So you got to turn the whole baby towards you. Everyone wants to hold the baby like this. I mean, you can hold them like this, but not to nurse. Turn their whole torso. We say tummy to tummy towards you. Boop, like this. Hello, thank you. Got it? The next thing is, and look, when you see images of moms breastfeeding, first of all, often it's not real. It's somebody pretending to breastfeed to put it on the side of a pack of Pampers. And they have their head pretty high up, like this. Also, the nurse in the hospital is probably also going to help you nurse by palming the head and putting their head down like this. This is a bad latch. This is just a painful latch. So between a lot of people not knowing how to do it correctly, I mean, they could get on like this, but it'll hurt, and the more it hurts, the less milk transfer that's happening. I like to come over here, grab the boob in the back, and get, you see, and put them on like this. I think you don't see a lot of pictures of this because it exposes the whole breast, which is not as good for photography. Also, this is only what we're doing in the first few days and weeks, where most people aren't taking pictures. Once the baby gets older, you can nurse them like this. I'm telling you, it's fine. But in the first few days, in the first few weeks, we really need to not palm their head, support them by the neck, get the boob, and put them on like that. I have a video that I will link that gives a whole latch explanation on positioning. Okay, dope. The other big difference is when you feed a baby a bottle is how you gently place it in their mouth. You don't press it, right? There's no force. You just gently place it in their mouth. When you are breastfeeding, you could try that, and if it works, to just gently bring the baby to the breastaurant, which is how I prefer to start. Just bring the baby to the breastaurant and let them feel the way around. And if they get a good painless latch, that's great. But if not, we're gonna grab the boobie and shove it in there. Okay, shove, smush, smush, smush. Because if they're on the tip of your nipples, because if they're on the tip, it's gonna hurt. And the way we get them past being on the tip, you want their mouth up on the areolas. You got to really get in the back of your boob, like this, in the back, not here, in the back of the boob, and shove and firm. And whenever I do this, people are like, oh my God, you're like, yes, it's making the pain stop immediately. They're like, ow, hurts, stops hurting. Hurting, not hurting. Hurting, not hurting. Because they're like, well, I hope I'm not hurting them. And I say, are they crying? Do they cry when they're upset? Yes, they do. Are they crying now? No, they're not. And they're also being smushed into a boob. And boobs don't hurt anybody. Boobs don't hurt anybody. With a bottle, I wouldn't ever use that force. Amazon's here. I wouldn't ever use that force, okay? So those are the main things of how we are having trouble with breastfeeding, because we are applying formula bottles to our breastfeeding and it does not work. So that's my spiel. That's my Amazon package. What did I get? How should I close this video out? I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope you will feel confident in your breastfeeding journey, and please seek out support and refer to my other how to latch video where I gave a long explanation tutorial with a client in real time, helping her get a latch. Yeah, that's it. And off to editing. Happy breastfeeding, everybody. Happy birthing. Stop palming the head. If you palm the head, the baby's going to catch your nips and twist them. You got to get the head like this, like I showed in the other video. If this is a breast, and feed the baby like that. Mush the booby in there. How we drink too. Chin up, tilting up. It'll hurt so much less. Have a great day. Happy breastfeeding.